Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Hollow Place podcast. I'm here with SpaceMan Zack,
What's popping?
and we're back to another episode where we just kind of talk about a few things. We got some topics lined up. We asked you guys, Zach asked you guys on Instagram for some topics, so we have some stuff we'll get to, and yeah, stick around. It'll be fun.
Flex.
What's been going on?
I mean, same old, bro. Like life is everything's expensive in the world and life is tough, but good things. Just
Every time I go to the store, I spend like $100.
dude, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like I'm like watching the prices go up and it's so evil.
Yeah.
It's like week to week. It
Yeah.
sucks. Because I feel like I spend more on like less stuff. Like I went to the store the other day and I spent like $40 on like household items. And then I walked out of the store, I had like 3 things. I was like, what
Yes.
the fuck is this?
Yeah, I'll go to the store and I'll go to the store for like 1 or 2 things, and I'll get a couple more while I'm
Yeah.
there because I'm like, "Oh, we need this." And it's always like ends up being like $100.
Well, I have like a bad habit too of like as I'm on the way to the store, I like calculate how much things should
Yeah,
be. And I'm
yeah.
like, I like work it into like my budget. And then I walk out spending like $40 more than I thought I was going to. And I was like, it's it's just stupid.
I try not to pay attention to that. That is smart. I try not to think about that so I don't have expectations.
Yeah, I just stress myself out.
Yeah,
But
no, I get
like
that.
but like it's all good. It's like a OCD. Like I have to like because after I buy stuff, I go and check my bank account too. Like it's like
Yeah,
weird. And like I know how much is in there. So like it's like
yeah.
but it's like a comforting thing
No,
for
I
me.
get that. I get that.
Um but other than that, just getting ready. We got all the stuff for the nursery for the baby. So we're super excited. I'm gonna paint that probably tomorrow.
The nursery?
Yeah.
Y'all doing blue?
It's like a night sky theme, so it's like navy blue and like gray with like stars on the walls and like moons.
Oh, you're not doing
Clouds.
the aqua?
I wanted to do the aqua, but we couldn't settle on. She thought that my ideas were tacky, and then I thought her ideas were tacky, so we kind of settled on like a common ground. I wanted to do a magma room with like lava.
Oh, hell no. I think that's a bad
No,
idea.
no, it's a bad idea. But I was like, how cool would that be? And then, yeah, because I wanted to do. I can't because I'm not. She won't let me say his name right now. Whoa.
Oh yeah, true. It's a
But
secret.
I like the idea I had to go with his name, but it didn't. It's not gonna work. So we're doing nighttime sky.
That's cool.
It's gonna be really cute. We got like cloud lights that hang from the ceiling over his
Ooh.
crib and stuff. So it's gonna be really nice. But we're just really excited. Um, we've been like setting up like packing like a hospital bag for when she like everything is like coming to like okay, it's time to get ready because like there's like a chance that he could come in like a month or there's a chance
Yeah.
that he could come in like 2 months. Like it's like we're hitting that window where like he could just decide to come.
Well, that's so I'm sure there's so many things that you guys have to do that you wouldn't even.
That you don't think about.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's like 100 things that I would never imagine that you have to do or like
Dude,
prepare for.
I didn't think about any of it. And then also like I didn't realize like right now, so she has a prenatal appointment tomorrow and it's like a checkup to just make sure the baby's good.
Yeah.
And then like after like tomorrow, she has to go every week to like go see the doctor. And it's like you just don't I don't think about that. Like I thought it was gonna be like every like twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even think about even like. I mean, it makes sense, but I would have like not thought about having a bag packed like
Yeah.
that early
Yeah.
just in case.
Just in case, because they were telling us they were like because he's measuring like really big
Yeah.
also, which is I was a big baby, so it kind of runs in my family. But if they're like bigger, sometimes they come earlier, right? So they were like they gave us like a 3 week window of like when he should be born,
Yeah.
but they were like if he comes, a week before that, you're now a month before your due date.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like really weird, and like we hope he doesn't because like that leads to other problems. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like it's like always in the back of my mind. Like I go to sleep with like one eye open. Like she's gonna go into labor, and I have to get ready.
Yeah.
So
That is so crazy to think about.
yeah, But life is crazy, and literally at the most in 2 months, there's gonna be like a little person in my house.
It's so I think me and my girlfriend were talking to you about this last time, but I feel like you guys just told us
Yeah.
like not that long ago.
Yeah, well, our pregnancy was, like, weird too because, like, at the
Yeah.
beginning, like, we were doing the whole, like, immigration stuff, so, like, I wasn't with her for the first trimester, which is, like, really
Oh
whack,
yeah.
like, it sucks, like, we spent, like, 3 months apart.
Yeah.
Um,
See, I forget. That's weird because that feels like such a long time
yeah,
ago.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But, like, she got here in, like, February or, like, late January.
Yeah, you're
So, like,
right.
it really was not that long ago,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? So, it's just weird, but, like, good weird. Like,
yeah.
we're really excited. We've, like, redid our whole house to, like, make it baby safe,
Yeah.
which is, like, weird. Like, we got rid of our coffee table, and we got a new coffee table that's a circle because we didn't want
Like the edges
corners.
or the
And, like,
corners.
that's
Yeah.
something, like, I never thought about.
Yeah.
But then she was like, "Yeah, we shouldn't have corners on the table." And I was like, "You're right."
Yeah.
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 So, it's crazy. But
That's
life is
crazy.
good. I mean, we're excited, so
Yeah,
how
I'm
about
excited for you guys.
thank you. How about you?
Same old, same old. Just been like working on stuff. And we went and scouted locations for the music videos for the album coming out soon.
Uh,
So trying to plan out those videos. Same old. Just kind of been working and chilling. I don't like to do anything, so I'm cool with kind of a boring life sometimes.
dude, same.
So I feel like that's a good segue to a question that No Face asked on Instagram. He said, "You should talk about the struggles of being an artist and maintaining a home life and soon to be dad life." So I guess just like I kind of already know
Yeah.
the struggles of that, but I guess you could just talk about like preparing for having a baby, how it's affected
Yeah.
kind of your process.
I mean, it's been different. Like, which obviously, you've kind of watched it. And I think it's gonna change even more when we have the baby,
Yeah.
because it's gonna be like a lot of a different like atmosphere in the house. Um, but it's been like I have had to like learn. It's kind of actually been like a little bit of a struggle for me to learn to like not be doing music 24/7 and
Yeah.
like all day and like every day. Like I have had to have like there's like been like a learning curve to like on my free time to like split it 50/50. And like I'm happy to be doing it. Like it's not a complaint. But like I've been a lot more conscientious of like I do work on music. Haley's been fantastic because she's very much in like I don't want you to like stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is your passion. Um, keep pushing that as much as you can. Um, so it's really just been like dedicating like 50/50 time. Like I say I have like 3 days to work on stuff. Like I have 3 days open. I will work on music for 2 of those days, and then the third day is like no music, no anything that has to do with music. It's all preparation for baby,
Yeah.
right? Because there's just so much to get done. Like tomorrow I'm going to spend my whole day probably painting the office or the it used to be an office and
Yeah.
now it's going to be a nursery. Um and then it bleeds together though cuz it's like it's really cool. I'd be like sitting in my studio working on music and like it's given me like subject matter,
Yeah,
Like
I was gonna ask if like your approach to
yeah.
making anything
Yeah.
is different.
Well, we're very strong on like I'm not like censoring my music now because I've had a couple people ask me and they're like, "Oh, are you gonna stop cussing in your music or
Yeah.
talking about what you talking about?" And it's like, no, like this is me. And I also don't think that I'm going to like we've talked about it, censor music around
Yeah.
him. Because I think that like it would be unfair to be like, "Hey, by the way, you can't listen to the first 5 years of your dad's catalog."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think we'd have that conversation like, "Hey, we are adults and this is what we can say, and like you can't go to school and say
Right.
fuck. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't like censored anything, but it has changed my thought process in writing because I don't know. I think that I've started writing like more songs and more like pieces into the music that like have to do with my excitement for him coming and like how much he's I have I mean you've heard I have that one song I was supposed to drop it on my birthday, but SoundCloud locked us out.
Yeah.
But it's all about him
Yeah.
and like the feeling that I got finding out about him.
Yeah.
So it's just been like special that I've been able to do that. We have the heartbeat, his heartbeat from a sonogram that
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to flip into something.
Oh, that's
I'm
cool.
yeah. Um but yeah, I mean it's just been interesting. It's just been different but not bad, but good and yeah, it's just I don't know. It's like a weird I don't really know how to talk about him yet because I don't
Yeah.
know him yet.
Well, I feel like not that I know anything about any
Yeah.
of this stuff, but I feel like there's a chance too that like even everything that you just said, like once he's here,
Could change.
could like change. I feel like there's like a before,
Yeah.
like during pregnancy, and then there's probably a big my I don't want to say a mindset shift,
Yeah.
but like I feel like something might
Yeah.
click on or off or
Yeah.
something. Just
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree, and I think that there's definitely been a shift,
yeah,
in the couple or in the we're, like, 7 months pregnant now, so, like, in
yeah,
that, like, 7 months, there's been a shift, um, but I think it's more about just being, like, conscientious of everything. I feel like I've become more conscientious of, like, everything around me, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
instead of just being, like, tunnel visioned, I'm now, like, thinking about setting him up for the future and like setting our family up for the future and like little things like setting up the house and stuff like that is like just it all occupies my brain at the same time now.
yeah. Like much more future minded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but it's been really cool and I don't think it's slowed me down at all, so that's been good.
No, I don't think so at all
Yeah,
either.
I've been
Actually.
pumping out some music,
Yeah.
so
Facts.
yeah. Hell
Well,
yeah.
cool. Hell yeah.
I mean like bro, I have no idea what just happened to my body. I know what I was gonna say is I know that you're now like you're not becoming a dad or anything, but
Yeah.
like I mean you're growing up and like
Yeah.
and
I,
in like a very serious relationship and
yeah.
like
I think I've become a lot more like future minded too in the past couple of years, which I imagine just comes with like getting older. I feel like when I think about myself, I feel like I'm like 23.
yeah
I'm 28.
yeah
I'll be 29 this year, but I still feel like I'm like 23. And like if I see like a group of like 20-year-olds or something, I'll in my head I'm always like, "Oh, I'm like
I'm one of them.
yeah, I'm like one of them."
It's like that. What's up, fellow kids?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I have to kind of remind myself that I'm not, but I still very much feel 23. I don't know where I was going with that, but I think in the last couple years I've become more like future minded and you just think about things a little differently instead of like I don't know when like we first started doing all this and like well when we first linked up, I think that like all either of us cared about was like music and the scene or
Mhm.
like me videos, I guess, but like that was like all I literally cared about. I
Yeah.
didn't care about anything else and I think like this is funny. We talk about this sometimes, but like it like trips me out to like we used to like hop fences
Yeah.
and like we used to go in like hella places we weren't supposed to be to film.
Yeah.
And like I never used to phase me.
Yeah.
And now sometimes I'm like, it freaks me out because I like it's not that I didn't care what happened to me,
Mhm.
but now I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But I
No.
used to just not care. I was just like, go, 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 go. And yeah, I think when you just grow up and get older and stuff, or like, yeah, you're in a relationship or like you have like stuff to care about
Mhm.
outside of yourself,
Yeah.
then you become a lot more like future minded as opposed to just like I don't care, go, go, go. And I think ultimately, I think that's good
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
agree. I think it's just more matured.
Yeah.
Like it's still like I think we're still like wild. I don't want to say wild, but like we're still like off the norm, and like we
Yeah.
still do kind of wild shit in terms of like pertaining to life. But I agree because we used to like I mean the amount of times that like the cops have come and like kicked us out of places and like
Yeah.
whatever. But now I look at like an abandoned building and like whatever, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool to shoot in, but I don't really want to go
Yeah,
there.
bro, like, I
Like,
don't wanna, like I don't know, it's just, like, you have other stuff to worry about.
yeah,
Like,
like what if I got arrested and I'm not gonna be there for the birth of my kid? And
that's what
like,
I'm
yeah,
saying, like, I used to just never think about that stuff, but now I'm like, what if we go in somewhere and, like, like, the police come or something, and they're, like, not cool at all, and they're like, "Y'all are under arrest." Like, I don't wanna deal with that, and also, like,
yeah,
I don't wanna deal with the process of dealing with it. Like, I don't wanna, like that takes up so much time, and it's like, it's just not worth it.
yeah,
So, I don't know, but yeah, no, I just think it's just part of, like, growing
yeah.
up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so funny too because sometimes I think about it. I also realize that I'm saying like a lot, and
Me
I
too,
know that
bro.
people have made fun of us for
Yeah,
that before.
we gotta comment on
So
something.
I'm really sorry if I say like a lot. I don't know how to formulate my thoughts, but it's funny too because like sometimes I'll think about it, and growing up is scary, bro. Like it really is, you know. And like I think about how my life has changed from like when we linked up and I was 18
Yeah,
to now I'm 27.
yeah,
Like that's a huge and I in no way do I think 27's old. I think that I'm very young
yeah,
and I think that I have a lot to do. Um but that is a big jump in like a
yeah.
mentality and like matureness and it scares me sometimes and I think about like the baby coming. I'm terrified to be a fucking dad. Dude, I'm terrified. Cuz I never thought I was going to. There was a time in my life where I was like no kids.
Yeah,
Not happening.
yeah.
And now I'm, like, very excited and, like, I welcome the idea that it's scary.
Yeah, just I think what helps to realize, though, is that, like I think when you're younger and you look at, like, adults,
Yeah.
you are like, "Oh, like, they have it
Figure it out.
all figured out," and I think when you get older, you realize that, like, that's really not true. I don't think anyone ever, like, figures it out because, I don't know, you start like, I feel like in my late 20s now, sometimes I talk to adults or even my parents or just, like, other people that are a lot older than me,
Mm.
and I'm like, "Oh, this is just, like, life." Like,
Yeah.
people are really just kind of, uh
Just
not
wait.
that people a lot of people don't have, like, stuff figured out, but
Yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah.
I think everyone's just I don't think you ever get to a point where you're like, "Oh, I got it."
Yeah. Well, no, 'cause I think about that too, like, when I think about the timeline of, like, when I moved here from New York and my dad was in his 30s, right? And thinking about, like, that's not super far off from me, and I could not do what he did. But then I also think about, like, I have like, seen myself step up into that role of, things like building credit
Yeah.
and even, like, the handy stuff around the house, 5 years ago, good luck asking me to, like, set up a nursery and paint a room and, like, do all that shit by myself, and now I'm like, "It has to get done, I'm gonna do it," and then I do it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Wow, I just did that shit. I'm a grown up." You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
wow, I did it, you know? And
Yeah.
it really is just I think in the moment you just do it and then you figured it out, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but I think that's all that, like,
That's all life
life
is you
is.
just keep doing new things and you're like, "Oh, I figured it out." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, that's funny.
yeah, that's crazy.
Hell yeah. Okay, let's move on to, a popular, topic of conversation these days, which is someone asked if I could beat 100 gorillas, which obviously I could not, but, that comes from the question of, do you think 100 people could beat 1 gorilla in a fight?
I mean, yes.
Yeah, I do too, honestly.
Yes, I think that it's kind of a no-brainer. I think that people over or underestimate how many people 100 people is.
Well,
It's a lot of
I've
people.
seen people who were presenting it as if like 100 people go like one by one, which
You're losing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think in that case they would lose, but um I think a lot of people would die and get seriously
Yeah,
injured.
we would lose some people.
But I feel like 100 people could beat up and kill one gorilla.
Yeah, I mean, just sheer numbers. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
here's the thing. Gorillas are badass. No, I'm not hating the gorilla community, but like, you get 100 grown people, like that's a lot of strength and that's a lot of like agility and that's just a lot of numbers. Like, I don't think that like, do I think that I could beat up something smaller than me? Yes, but if there's 100 of them,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't think I'm gonna fight, let's say, a cat. But if 100 cats came at me, I'm fucking getting my ass kicked,
Yeah, I kind of
right?
agree, and I think that human beings are uh like pretty like they're smarter,
Yeah.
which only goes so far,
Yeah.
but I just feel like I don't know. I feel like I think a lot of people disagree though. They think gorillas will kill 100 human beings, and
I
I
think the
just
first like 20 that
yeah,
and then he's gonna get tired.
yes,
Yeah.
fatigue,
Yeah.
and then also like, and there's a bunch of jokes about this, but like the indomitable human spirit, like I feel like human like will keep.
Yeah. Adrenaline's a crazy thing
Yeah,
too,
that's what I'm
bro.
saying. I'm sure gorillas get adrenaline, but
Yeah.
or something. I have
Yeah,
no
but
idea.
moms lift cars off of babies and shit. Like,
That's true.
you know?
So I think
Kevin Gates started a battery with his
yeah,
hand.
dude, that's ridiculous. We need Kevin Gage
Oh, we need Kevin Gates. Kevin, we need you.
on the
Kevin, we
podcast.
need you. That's wild.
What about a gorilla versus Kevin Gates?
Dude, I that's a good battle. That is a good Kevin Gates on adrenaline after starting a car battery, he might
Yeah,
take it.
I think he might too.
He might take it.
He might too. That's so funny. Yeah, I think it would be a wash. If it was like 50, I'd be a lot less confident. But I just feel like 100 is
I think half of the 100 might die or be like seriously ICU'd,
yeah.
right?
But that's what I'm saying. Like I think a really beaten and battered human being will like keep fighting
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think
past a normal
well,
point.
because I'm looking at it as like, bro, I think how many people would it take to hold a gorilla's arms down? 5 or 6?
5 or 6.
So you got 5 or 6 on each side, you're 12 down. You got what is that? 88 left
Yeah,
to
I
just
think it's just I think what would be hard is getting into a position
to
where
get that
you
happening.
could get the
But if you got that happening, it's done though. And also you can choke out a gorilla. Like they do need to breathe. So if you held it down and someone also who are we putting against this gorilla? Because if you're putting a
yeah.
bunch of like me's, I can't. I'm not doing
I
shit.
would say
But if
it's
it's like some
100 healthy.
like, are they
men.
like UFC fighters though?
I would say 100 men in good
Good
healthy
shape.
shape.
Yeah, we're taking it.
I think so too.
Yeah, we're taking it. And I'm not gonna fight, but I'm gonna like command the battlefield.
Yeah, same. I
Yeah,
don't want to. I
I'm
don't want
not
to be
fighting a
involved.
gorilla.
Yeah,
I'm not fighting a
that
gorilla.
sounds horrible. But I think 100 people will win. All right, well, that's settled.
That is
Thanks to us.
easy.
Okay. Next thing I wanted to bring up is kind of an interesting thing that I saw. Anthony Fantano talking about actually, which was a a couple tweets from Russ. Remember Russ?
I do remember Russ.
Shouts out to Russ. So he said, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. He said Spotify should remove the public display of listener counts and streams, so like the monthly listeners number, and even I guess he's saying like the stream numbers next to a song. It's a catalyst for unhealthy comparisons. It creates misleading metrics like monthly listeners and incentivizes people to cheat so they can inflate the perception of popularity. Hiding the numbers would reduce the pressure to compete on inauthentic metrics and encourage a focus on music itself. Look at Apple Music. There are zero conversations about how the music is performing on there or if streams are fake because you don't know. It's nobody's business how the music is performing outside of the artist and their team. We live in this weird time where everyone feels entitled to know everybody's business because of social media.
That's an interesting take. Russ said that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take, and I think it would be easy to say that if it was like like he's a big artist, so like for him to say that, right?
Yeah.
And he does numbers, so for
Yeah.
him to say that is not like someone just complaining that their numbers aren't up, right? Um, I I agree. I think that there's benefits to both sides of it. I do think that if people go again, it's a society thing though,
Yeah.
like right. So if people go and see my profile and I have 100,000 monthly listeners, I think that they're more inclined to go listen to me than the person with 10,000 monthly listeners, which is a benefit to me,
Yeah.
right? It does benefit
Yeah.
me. Um, and I think that that's selfishly good for me,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm like, oh yeah, I have 100,000 monthly listeners. You want to jump on the wave too? Because I think as people, we are very, and I'm a product of this too. I jump on waves,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's just consumerism of, how many songs have been out for 5 years, but then and people hated on them, and then all of a sudden they blew up on TikTok, and now everyone's like, oh yeah, I've been supporting, I love them,
Yeah.
and I think that's just people, that's humans. um but I do agree, I do hate the pressure. I
Yeah.
I go and look at my monthly listeners once a week, and if they drop 200 people, I have a existential fucking crisis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't think it needs to be that, because it really should be, as an artist, I want to say it should be based off the artistry,
Right.
right? And I know that like in our talks and experiences with labels, and labels won't even take a look at you unless you have, this many monthly listeners and you're doing this many streams,
Promote.
whatever, where they could look at it as, oh, this guy is a great artist. He's making beautiful music. He's untapped.
Yeah.
We could blow him up, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I wish that it was like that, because I think that I could have done really well on certain labels
Mm-hmm.
had I had the resources that they could have given me by
Yeah.
just seeing my artistry and not seeing like, oh, he hasn't made it to this tier yet, so we're not even gonna touch him, right? And then I do think that there is a problem with like, bro, I think that people miss out on so much good music because they look at it and they're like, oh, well, this song only has 400 streams.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna fucking try.
Yeah.
But it's probably one of the best songs you've ever heard in your entire life. Because I have gone on like SoundCloud and looked at people's stuff, and in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, this song has 50 streams. Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Must not be good.
And then I let it play, and I'm like, wow, this is fucking incredible. Like, this is
Yeah.
going into my playlist. And I think that people are doing a disservice to themselves by looking at that kind of stuff. So I think if you
Yeah.
took that away, there wouldn't be the pressure of, what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I kind of I mean, I agree. I think that's like one side of the coin is like, yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure for people to like maintain appearances,
Mhm.
which doesn't really have anything to do with the music at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's kind of pointless, but it's also kind of it's like an arbitrary number because to be a monthly listener,
Yeah.
you have to stream the person's music. So that means, and a stream is you listen to a song for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an arbitrary number if you're looking at it to even gauge like popularity
Mhm.
or like a fan base to a point. Like, yeah, I think it's a metric you can use, but say someone has 50,000 monthly listeners, 25 of those, 25,000 of those
Mhm.
could be like they could just be in like an editorial playlist
Yeah.
and everyone's skipping the song.
True.
And like 25,000 people are skipping the song.
Or you were like featured on somebody else's song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of arbitrary at the end of the day too. In terms of like it just doesn't I think in a lot of cases doesn't fully represent like the size or passion of the actual fan base, and
Yeah.
then but having it there creates this competition even between like major artists
Yeah.
and like their labels of
Yeah.
the Drake and Kendrick thing. Like it was such a big deal when Kendrick passed Drake in monthly listeners. He's
Mhm.
like the number one rapper in the world on Spotify.
Yeah.
And but if you think about it, there's probably not that much of a difference between like Kendrick's core fan base,
And Drake's core fan base.
well, or Kendrick's core fan base before that beef
Yeah.
and after.
Yeah.
Like
You just got all these people piling in to check
it's
out
a
a
moment.
song. Yeah.
Yeah. And not to take anything away from Kendrick.
No.
And I'm sure that beef brought both sides like new fans
Yeah.
for sure. But I don't know. It's kind of an arbitrary number. And I think honestly, I don't know if I'd like go sit outside of Spotify and like call for them to take it down, but I don't think I would care because I feel like the benefit of knowing how many, well, and we would still know, like it would be
Yeah.
on the back end, but I feel like the benefit of other people knowing, I don't know. I feel like it would be like a little refreshing to uh not have to, not even as a consumer,
Mhm.
to not have thought processes about things
Yeah.
before I even
Yeah.
listen
Yeah.
based on something as arbitrary as a number.
Yeah. Well, I also think like in the argument of like keeping up appearances, we would have those stats. We are free to post them.
Yeah.
And everyone would, because everyone already does, right? Every time if my song hits 50K plays, I always post it on my story and I'm like, thank you guys for 50,000
Yeah.
plays. I would do that with or without the numbers. So I think that you can still maintain those appearances,
Sure.
right? But this would eliminate like the forcefulness to maintain those
Yeah,
appearances.
because I don't know, you'd be sharing something on your own accord as if something that's like being shared almost involuntarily
Yeah.
that is updated every single day.
Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, I'd be for removing.
Yeah.
But like you said, I'm not gonna go march on Spotify and be like, we have to do this. Um, but I do think, and I do think that it would limit the amount of people who are boosting plays
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And because I see people boost like monthly listeners and stuff, and to me, it's very obvious when that happens because we've seen like organic growth and we've also seen fake. And so we can like spot the differences. I was talking to Haley about this and it was someone on like Instagram and I was looking at their posts and I was like, clearly
Yeah.
these are fake engagements, right? But then like my sister, who's just like living her life doing normal things, is like, oh, this person's popping on Instagram. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
here's why, and why this is fake, right? And so I think that some people do boost stuff and like fake out people, which I mean, power to you, I guess, if you're doing that. But I think this would eliminate that desire to do that because people are only going to listen to you if they like the music. They're not going to listen to you for the sole fact of being on the wave now.
Well,
If they can't see your streams,
oh, right,
right?
right, right,
Like
right.
if they can't
Yeah.
see your numbers, like it eliminates that, like, oh, I'm going to listen to this guy because he has 10 million plays on this song. So
Yeah.
I got to be one of them before he blows
Well,
up.
you know what's crazy? I've seen people like sell like screenshots of like them listening to an artist when they had like I've seen people sell a screenshot of them listening to Yeet
Mhm.
and it'll have his monthly listeners and it'll be like 15K.
Yeah.
Like sell it so that people can like
Pretend to be like on the
yes.
wave. Yeah.
Because like, oh, I was listening to so and so when they had 15,000 listeners. Like, look how much cooler I am than you.
That's crazy too, because as the artist, I've had people like argue in my comments before, and they're like, "Well, I was here when Zach had 10 monthly listeners, and then you were only here after 100,000." And it's like, guys, I don't care. Like, no offense. Like, thank you for like rocking with me this whole time. I appreciate you being on my side and helping me grow. But the point is to help me grow.
Yeah.
So if this guy came in yesterday and found my music and really likes it and will ride for me now, but you came in 3 years ago, this sounds like you guys are like both important to me,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
So like let's not, it doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
really doesn't matter when you found an artist. I will tell you straight up, I found Yeet late.
Yeah.
I found most artists I find are late because I'm more wrapped up in my own shit.
Yeah.
And then you show me and you're like, oh yeah, this guy's about to blow up. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden they start popping and I see their name more and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go listen. And then I really like them. I found Yeet way late,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I think I don't know. I really do enjoy, and there's plenty of times where I've like screenshotted your Spotify and
Yeah.
put it on my story just to be like
Yeah.
as like a flex. But I could very much let that go because
You
I
know?
do.
Yeah.
It's just so. I wish I just wish things were about like the music or the quality or like what or just like what you like. Not
Yeah.
even about like, oh, you have to, it should be about what's good. It's just there are people, and I can imagine me myself now having thoughts of like me going on Spotify,
Mhm.
seeing someone and getting like social proof to be like, oh, this person's probably good. They have 200,000 monthly listeners.
Yeah.
If I was like 15, I can imagine I would almost probably base my personality off like, who can I see that's popular?
Mhm.
This is what I like,
That's what I'm saying.
as opposed to like clicking on the music
Yeah.
and listening to it and deciding if I like it.
Yeah. No, no, that's what I'm saying. And it goes for like everything because that's just who we are as humans.
Yeah.
Um, I have a friend who I was like watching TikToks with them and they like laughed at this person's video and then they like swiped off of it and I was like, "Why didn't you like it?" And they were like, "Oh, it only had 20 likes. So I'm not going to like it." Like what?
Yeah.
Like if you like it, you like it, bro, you know? And like I do the same thing where someone would be like, "Oh, check out my music or check out this artist." And I go to their Spotify and I see you have 20 monthly listeners. I'm like, "Oh, already in my head, you're trash."
Yeah.
Right? But like it should never be like that. Because we all
No.
started with 0 monthly listeners.
Yeah.
So
And I think,
keep in mind, I'm not saying that if you have 20 monthly listeners, you're trash. I'm saying that that's a bad thing that I do and I need to get past
yeah.
it because you're probably fire.
And here's the thing too, like it is, I think it is true that it's hard because I like you, if you're making something, you want people to watch it or listen to it or like it
Mhm.
if they do watch it or listen to it. But I think it's when you're trying to pursue something, especially trying to pursue something that you can like live off of financially or like use to support yourself, it's so easy to get caught up in numbers.
Mhm.
And I have to remind myself of this a lot, but it is so true. And I think that you would agree. You don't agree if you don't agree, but I think you would agree that if you literally have like 2 fans, you like you've to a point like you or from a point of view like you've made it.
Yeah.
Like being able to make something,
Yeah.
and that's what I try to remind myself all the time because like when we were dropping music videos in like 2020,
Yeah.
they would hit like 20K in like a day.
Yeah.
That never happens anymore.
Yeah.
And but they hit like 2K
Yeah.
or something, and I have to remind myself that like that is actually crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Even though I could sit there and be like, "Oh, I wish I could drop this and 100,000 people liked it,"
yeah.
and then they don't, and I'm like, "Oh, it's a failure."
Yeah.
It's really not, and I truly do mean that to anyone who's listening too. Like, if you are making anything, and literally anybody is paying attention to it, I'm not saying like, "Oh, you should be grateful," like
Mm.
you're being ungrateful. I'm just saying that is like, I think that's so special at any level,
Yeah.
and I don't think that it gets any more special.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like, the more
Yeah.
people that listen, I don't think it gets any more.
It doesn't. In fact, it almost gets less.
Yeah.
So, because as someone who has had rises and falls in his career, um, there was a moment where I was unable to open my DMs because there was
Yeah.
too many, right? And it's really not like that anymore. So there has been like a decline in like inclines and declines or whatever. it it's always special,
Yeah.
right? But I agree with what you're saying. That is bigger than you think. Two people listening to your music and really feeling that shit
Yeah.
is bigger than you think it is. Because I'm a product of that too. I get really down on myself, right? But then I think about Chasing Angels. The music video hit 10K plays in like a month and a half, right?
Yeah, I think 3 weeks maybe.
Yeah. Okay. 10,000 people is so many fucking people.
Yeah.
10,000 people is more people than I know in my life, right? Like, that's insane. That's so many people. So there's like that, right? It's just not the million people that you want it to be, right?
Yeah.
But also, there is, I think it's also human nature where when things start happening more and more, you get used to them, right? So I think that when I was at my like biggest moment, people being like, "Oh, this song means so much to me," started to like mean less.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it happens so much, right? So that's something that I'm grateful where like the decline happened and I saw more of those
Yeah.
messages like personally, and it reminded me like there was a moment where I was like very lost in the sauce, and now I'm back to where like every single person that hits me up and is like, "Yo, your song means a lot to me." Like, that means a lot to me,
Yeah.
right? Because, bro, if I can help one person, my job is, like, really done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that a big thing comes from the art you make shouldn't really be for anyone else in the first place. It should be for you.
Yeah.
It really should be for you. And, that's another thing that I had to relearn in my times. Was that I started making music with 0 monthly listeners, 0 anyone giving a fuck about what I was making. It was for me. So, if me making a song for me can help one other person, that's more than I even started it for,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
So, like
that's kind of what I mean is I think you just have to remember that instead of feeling like or if like you're pursuing anything
yeah.
and like it's just not panning out in the way you want, I just don't think it like more times than not if you're being genuine about it. Like if your intention is just to go like viral or like just to
Then get your bag.
yeah, then
Yeah.
do whatever, and, like, I think then maybe if something doesn't pop off, you can consider that,
Yeah.
like, a failure, I guess, but
Yeah.
if you're being genuine about it, I just don't you really can't fail, and I know that might sound it's, like, easier to process that
Yeah.
or I'm sorry, it's easier to say that than to
Yeah.
process it,
I
but
think it also sounds like something that someone who has, like, failed would say. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, like, I get that we sound like that, but, like, I really do think that that is something that I've learned and I feel strongly about too, is
Yeah.
that, like, I think that there is no failing if
No.
you're proud of your work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm
You just gotta
saying?
be proud of your work
Yeah.
and you know, put in work to if you want more attention, whatever, you know, put in work. But like so much of it, we talked about this in the last episode, but so much of this stuff is right place, right time. It's someone shouting you out.
Yeah.
It's some like
Remember when Kylie Jenner was blowing up artists just by putting them on her
yeah, oh sure.
story?
Like that's what I'm saying. So much of it is like, you know, someone or thing or something just even like a something going viral on TikTok. Like,
Mhm.
yes, there's a point I don't wanna go on a huge rant about this, but, that's why I don't like when people talk about, like, "Here's how to make your TikTok go viral." It's like, that's not true. Like, if I do all this stuff, it's not just gonna make the
Yeah.
TikTok go viral. There's so many other elements
Yeah.
of something like that. Or, like, here's how to make a song that's gonna hit the top 40. Here's because 'cause they're all in fucking this key, which every song it's like, there's so much more
Yeah.
that is just completely out of anyone else's control,
Yeah.
and some people get super lucky, and some people, nothing ever happens for them, but really, at the end of the day, none of that has anything to do with what you're making.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope that makes sense.
No, yeah, I mean, and that does make sense because you look at, like, certain songs that have blown the fuck up overnight, and they are not in any of those keys, and they are not made the way that you should be making music, or like, you know what I'm saying? And the easiest way to look at it is that, like, the SoundCloud era
Yeah.
of like, I think I saw someone on TikTok was talking about it, but this is a great example of, look at like Peep songs and like early X songs. They defy every rule of making a fucking
That's
song.
what I'm saying.
Bro, like if you showed that, if you went back 10 years and you showed that to like a industry producer and shit like that, they'd be like, "What the fuck are you showing me?"
Yeah.
But it sounds so good, and they also had those moments of just like, not to say that they didn't blow up because they were incredibly talented, but like there is so many other factors that, like, it's not just about
Yeah.
this
And
this like precise. It's
obviously, I didn't know either of these people personally,
yeah.
Peep or X, but like, have to imagine that, like, it's Star Shopping.
Yeah.
I don't think that was made under any like pretense.
Of like, this is going to be.
Oh, this is gonna be a huge song,
Yeah.
or also under a pretense of like, I don't think Lil Peep was like how to make a
Yeah.
how to make a hit
How to
song.
make a hit.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a happy and sad thing, but I think just because I get messages from people sometimes that are like, "Do you have any advice for me? Like, I've been doing music for 5 years and like I don't nobody listens to me, you know, et cetera, et cetera." And I think that like there's a happy and sad element to this, but like you just gotta work hard as you can,
Mhm.
take care of yourself, and then sometimes just it's just luck. Like
Mhm.
stuff stuff pans out or it doesn't,
Yeah.
but that shouldn't stop. Like really at the end of the day, you shouldn't be making art for the intent of it.
Yeah. Well, cause I can look at like, there's probably like 3 or 4 artists right now off top that I can name that I probably, not to hate, I've had more success than,
Yeah,
that I think work just as hard as me,
yeah,
make just as good of music as I do, if not better. They're better at, like, a lot of different things. I had lucky moments.
yeah,
I had lucky moments. I got placed on some YouTube channels before they blew up, and then the YouTube channels blew up, and my music went along with it, and that's what I can credit that to. You know what I'm saying? Not that I didn't work hard, not that I didn't do
yeah,
things, you know, but I think that I got a little bit luckier than them in certain moments, and
yeah,
that's the way the cookie crumbles.
yeah. And that's not to take anything away from anyone either.
No, I agree.
It's just like I don't know. I feel
Yeah.
that's just something I've had to learn because I feel like it's just so easy to feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough.
I get super depressed
Yeah,
about, like, I've gone through like moments where like I was like, ah, fuck this. I can't do it
yeah,
anymore, bro. And then I just have to bring myself back to earth, and like it does get hard, bro. Like especially in that me cleaning up era, um like right before rehab slash right after rehab. I was just fucking lost in my own head, and like I was really fucking down and depressed and like not doing well. And a lot of it had to do with like I was watching like numbers go down and stuff like
yeah.
that. And I look at it now with a clear head of like, you were still making music that you loved, and like it was
That's what I'm
okay.
saying.
Yeah.
And I think too. Last thing I'll say, and we can wrap it up. Um, but like if I dropped my next 10 videos and they all got 0 views and nobody ever watched them again, I'm in a very realistic sense, like doing music videos would probably become like less of a priority in my
Yeah.
life, but I would still do them.
Yeah. No, yeah, I will make music till
That's,
the day I die.
that's what I'm saying.
Even if I didn't release it, I would just make music because it's something I love to do, and it
Yeah.
makes me happy and proud of myself. I get so excited when I make a song and I do something crazy, and I will run out to my wife
Yeah.
and be like, "You have to drop what you're doing right now and come listen to this. This is so cool. I'm so proud of myself."
Yeah.
And it's like, it's those moments, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. All right.
flex.
Good episode. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have anything you want to talk about, any questions ever, let us know in the comments. Please like the video. That'd be sick. Please subscribe to the channel. That would also be sick. And yeah, any last words?
I love you, and I could beat up 100 gorillas.
Yeah, facts.